There we go.
And we are up and running. Huh? Yeah. Now you know we're a professional organization because I accidentally closed my notes. So we're going to have a nice, like, craptacular opening in YouTube. It's going to be awesome.
Cool.
We're a professional organization. Hello, and welcome to the 74th gathering of the Adventure Party on this, the 14th of May, 2017. I'm your party leader, Brad Ludwig. We ask that you peace tie your swords, holster your blasters, and make sure you have some Nuka-Cola ready, or be ready to be evil when you are gathered at the meeting table. With me, as always, is Glenn. Glenn Bittner is a movie reviewer. He does a show called the B-Movie Bunker, and he created an RPG called Mist Runner. How are you this evening?
I backstabbed the wizard. Take his stuff.
I was not ready for that. And I was drinking soda. Shame on me. I should have known.
You should.
How long have I known you?
Genius.
You are a damn comedic genius. So, we are going to be talking about being evil in a role-playing game. Now, there are differences in approach. I'm going to just come right out and say it. There's a right way and a wrong way to do it. And normally Glenn's mantra is we're not the arbiter of your fun. But I think that we can make very strong recommendations that if you are going to be playing an evil character or playing evil characters in a party, you don't go out of your way to backstab everybody at every given moment in time because you're evil. That's silly. You can't be dumb about it. You're banding together to do a thing, and you need to find out what that motivation would be, and not like normal characters that you may play, which are very good or neutral. There's a whole different mindset that you really kind of have to be in and stay in to make playing an evil character in an evil party work. So we're going to be talking about that.
Yep.
Our experiences in playing games like that or playing with folks like that, and try to give you tips on how to do it right and not create a colossal cluster when you're gaming with your friends. So, but as always, we're going to do I say we. Glenn is going to do a game review. I got to change that because that's not we. I don't review the game. You do. Glenn manages a game store in the Milwaukee area. No longer in Glendale. You are in
I'm
Mayfair?
actually in, yes, I am now in Wauwatosa.
You're in Wauwatosa. So Glenn gets to order, play, and sell games, and that is why he does the reviews, because he is the most hands-on person and gets to see all the new games, and he's perfect for it, and which is why one of the many reasons why he's a part of the Adventure Party. We're going to do just a tiny bit of gaming news, and then we are going to discuss For Love of Evil. So, let us start with your game review, and I am really interested in this one. Just from the title alone, what do you got?
Yes. I have Terraforming Mars. This is from Stronghold Games, created by Jacob, Frixelius.
Yes, we'll go with that.
Yeah. It is for 1 to 5 players. Plays in roughly 90 minutes, although that's, I think, kind of on the shorter end. But yeah. And retails for around $70. The concept of the game is it's the 2400s, and mankind has begun trying to make Mars habitable. There are giant corporations sponsored by the world government of Earth to initiate huge projects to raise the temperature, raise the oxygen level, and get oceans, and keep doing this until the environment is habitable. You play as one of those corporations, and you work together in the terraforming process, but you're competing for victory points that are awarded not only for your contribution to the terraforming, but also for advancing human infrastructure throughout the solar system and doing other commendable things. Over the course of the game, you're going to get different project cards. There are like over 200 different project cards that you can get that you can then buy with money you earn to do different things. These can be introducing plants or animals to Mars. This can be, you can launch asteroids at the planet, which helps raise the temperature.
Okay. I suppose, yeah.
Build cities. You can go mining, both on the planet or like on the moons of Jupiter. You are actually in this instance trying to build up greenhouse gases because you want to heat up the atmosphere. Some cards give you immediate bonuses. Some will give you an increase in your production of resources, which is like money, steel, titanium, plants, energy. And some have long-term effects. Some have short-term effects. Some have specific requirements that must be met. You can't introduce plant life when it's still negative 30 degrees out. So it's you have some cards have to be played with in special conditions. Some can only be played early in the game because when it gets to be too warm or too much oxygen, certain microbes and stuff no longer thrive, so you can't play them. So it's all getting things at the right time to give you the best benefit. There's just so much going on. It has a starter level, which is great, where you just get these basic starter corporations where everyone's the same to start. But then you get more advanced play, you get more advanced projects, you get individual corporations, which will give you special abilities based on which corporation you are. So there's a lot of stuff going on in this one. On your turn, you take 1 to 2 actions, and that's either playing a card, which is usually basically completing a project by paying money and completing a project or possibly resources. You can claim a milestone. There's specific milestones that you can get claimed during the game, like trying to remember now. It's like having the most cities or stuff like that. You can fund awards. So if you think I'm probably gonna have the most money at the end of the game, you can fund the award for that to get victory points at the end of the game. Of course, if someone else gets it, you paid for it. You just gave them victory points. So those can be kind of tricky. You have to make sure you're before you fund it. You want to make sure that I'm going to win that. There are standard projects you can do, which is just projects that anyone can accomplish that do some of the same things some of the cards do, but they come at a higher. You have to pay more to do it. You can convert plants that you have into greenery tiles, basically like forests, which raises the oxygen and gets you victory points. You can convert heat that you have left over to raise the temperature, or you can use the action of a card that you already have in play. It's really, really cool. Turn continues around the table until all players have passed. So each turn is basically considered to be a generation. So at the end of an actual turn, it's basically you've all died, your kids have taken over because it takes a long time to terraform a planet.
Oh, yeah.
So and then at the end of the turn, you also get your production, so you get your resources that you have, and then money according to whatever your terraforming rating is. When 3 global parameters are met, you have to have the temperature at, I believe it's 8 degrees Celsius. Oxygen has to be at least 14%, and all 9 ocean tiles have to be in play. That signifies the end of the game. Then you figure out what your terraforming rating is, and the other victory points you have, which you earn from every greenery tile that you control gets you points. Every greenery tile that borders one of your cities gets you bonus points, regardless of who controls those greenery tiles. And there's other cards that'll give you hit points and stuff like that too. There's so much going on, and there's just so many cool things you can do. It's just really an awesome game.
Yeah, I'm just kind of blown away by the board itself. The board is very beautiful.
Yeah, and the projects, I mean, to give you an idea of, they cost everywhere from 0 mega credits, which is the money, up to 41, depending on the project. So there's a lot of options you have. As I said, there's over 200 project cards that you can do in this game. Some of those are only unlocked when you're doing the longer corporate play, when you play with the newer corporations and not just the standard, everyone's the same companies.
Oh, okay, sure.
Yeah, it's one of those ones I like where it's competitive because you're trying to get the most points, but it's also, you are all cooperating to accomplish something.
Sure.
But there's ultimately one winner. Because you really don't do things to screw. And you might, I might build a greenery tile where you wanted to, but there's not like things that's not going to be like, stealing stuff away from you and making you lose turns, or, I'm not actually attacking you. But it's still competitive because you want to be the one with the most terraforming points at the end.
Sure. Okay. I love the all the different bits that go with the games, all the cubes that I'm seeing.
Yeah, the cubes, those all signify which player controls those tiles.
Gotcha. Okay.
So like that, there's right in the front, there's a city, little gray tile towards the bottom of the page. With the red cube on it. So at the end of the game, the red player would score 4 bonus points for that city because there are 4 greenery tiles around it.
Oh, okay. Yep.
That red player is also going to score a victory point for every one of those green tiles that they own. And they're going to score bonus points for that other city they own that has 5 greenery tiles around it. So a lot of it comes down to placement of where you place things on the board as well, because that can really, the greenery especially can really add up at the end of the game.
Okay. And Glenn, we put this on YouTube. So when Glenn is describing this, you really should check out our YouTube version of this, so you can see what this looks like. It's a very, very beautiful game, and it looks like not only would it kind of be educational in a fashion, but it's always fun, especially when you have younger kids playing, playing cooperative games, as opposed to, yes, there is going to be a winner in this game, as Glenn said, but it's always fun to kind of cooperate and build a thing together, as opposed to trying to tear everybody else down. Not to say games like that are bad, but it's fun to do that for kids, just to show them that there's another way to play a game. So yeah, I'm really, really kind of jazzed about this.
Yeah, it's really cool.
And you said it plays up to how many people?
1 to 5.
Okay. And $70. It looks like it has a great deal of replayability.
Oh yeah, and there is a lot in that box.
Yeah, one of the first pictures, because we like to use BoardGameGeek.com, and yeah, here we go. There's a ton of stuff that comes in this set. That's all the cubes to mark, who owns what. There's all the tiles for, the greenery, the oceans, the cities, and the individual cards that you have to, you spend your mega credits on to do a thing, to help benefit the planet, to help terraform it and whatnot. There's a lot to this, so don't be too surprised by the $70 price tag, because there's a lot in it, but there's a lot that you'll be able to get out of it too, with that high replayability. So That is a wonderful game. Thank you for pointing that out to us. Like I said, check out the YouTube version of this, and you'll be able to see all the images that we were flipping through while Glenn was talking about the game. So thanks for that, Glenn.
Absolutely.
I'm going to take a moment to talk about Die Hard Dice. Todd Tiemann of Die Hard Dice was very kind to us and very kind to you, our listeners. If you are looking for metallic dice, we're talking solid, good quality metal dice. If you're looking for plastic gaming dice, either like transparent dice or some beautiful like swirled metallic type dice, check out dieharddice.com. And if you use the coupon code, all one word, Adventure Party, you'll be able to take 10% off of your order. And that's anything that you order, whether it's the neoprene mats to roll your heavy metallic dice on so you don't ding up the table, or boxes for metallic dice, or even the bags that they've got beautiful satin interior and velvet exterior bags, which are really nice. Just to give you a basic idea, just recently I purchased their 6 set of their not pearlescent, but metallic swirl dice sets. And these are the gaming dice sets, so you get the D20, the percentiles, and everything. $18 for 6 sets, and you get that velvet and satin bag to put them all in. And what's really cool is for the folks that have been using the coupon code, they've been getting bonus dice sets along with it. Now, my friends that have ordered have been going with the plastic dice. Nobody I've heard from has ordered the metallic dice, but I have a feeling that if you order metallic dice, you might get a little extra just for ordering. So there's no guarantee on that, but from what we've seen so far and the people that I've talked to, Todd and the folks at Die Hard Dice have been really kind in slipping in a little bit extra in with the order. So once again, that's dieharddice.com, and the coupon code, all one word, Adventure Party. Okay, now the news. I was really excited when I saw this because Modiphius has partnered with Bethesda to create the Fallout 4 board game. And I'm gonna jump in here and wait, here we go. Okay. If you're checking us out on YouTube, I'm going to do a screen share here real quick, and that's what the minis look like. You get you get power armor, you get some super mutants, you get a death claw. Looks like you've got a Brotherhood of Steel. It looks like a scribe or one of the engineers. I'm not exactly sure. Looks like you also get, looks like it might be a gunner. You get an iBot, and you get a Nuka-Cola machine. It is so beautiful. Seriously, if you were into Fallout 4 like I am, I'm ridiculously into it. I just got a mod for Fallout 4, which is an alien invasion.
Really?
Yes, you do. In the vanilla game, you are able to find an alien who has crashed in Fallout 4. The alien race are called the Zetans. With this mod, there's an alien and there's an invasion of the Zetans in the Commonwealth. So you can end up going to certain areas and getting in the middle of a fight. And some of the weapons that they have are ridiculously powered. I got spanked like a one-shot kill, even in my best armor, with something that did, all told, with 3 different damage types, a little over 1,000 points.
Oof.
In one shot. So you need to be careful, and you need to be using cover and cleaning house. There's also Zetan hunters that show up, and they wear the marine armor that you can get if you finish out the Nick Valentine Dima, or not, Far Harbor, the Dima quest.
Yeah.
And recover his memory. You can get the marine armor. Well, these Zetan hunters have the marine armor on them.
Hated that fucking quest.
I you know what stinks is there's 5 levels that you have to go through. I did the first 4. I started the 5th and went, oh, this is going to take a while. I don't have the time. And then now when I try to go back to finish the 5th one, the game locks up. So I can't finish out that fifth item to actually unlock the marine armor. So at least in doing this, now it's available to me. But I can't modify it though. I can't add ballistic weave to it. So anyway, enough of PS4 Fallout talk. We're going to talk about the Modiphius game here. So I'm going to stop doing my screen share and let's talk about this. Okay, the title of the article, Fallout is getting its own tabletop game. It's been almost 2 years since Bethesda sent players back to the wasteland in Fallout 4. And while we're eagerly awaiting the first glimpse of Fallout 4 VR later this year, holy crap, there are new plans to expand the Fallout experience in tabletop gaming. Bethesda and Modiphius Entertainment are teaming up for Fallout 4 Wasteland Warfare, a new miniatures war game that will feature solo missions as well as player versus player and co-op options for multiple players. Thus far, very few details have been revealed about the Wasteland Warfare, but the first teaser image from the game was posted on Facebook. In that pic, we can see that the game appears to be taking cues from Fallout 4 with super mutants, fighters, and T-60 power armor. There's even a Nuka-Cola machine, and we showed the image just a little bit ago on YouTube. Presumably, the game will also feature other icons from the Fallout universe, but it's unclear where it fits within the narrative of the game. Modiphius Entertainment has a good track record of bringing its games to life through successful Kickstarter campaigns, but it's not currently known if Fallout Wasteland Warfare will also go the Kickstarter route, or if Modiphius will simply go straight to retail with one of the biggest video game brands. An official site for the game has also been launched with a new piece of artwork from the game and a very familiar canine companion. Dog meat. So there you go. I'm actually kind of, I would, just because I'm such a Fallout nut, I would totally play this. I would just love to sit and paint the miniatures more than anything else. God, because they're so gorgeous. My God. Now, my question to you, you're a Fallout player. You've played a bit of Fallout 4, obviously, because we griped about the Dima quest. Is this something that you would be interested in?
Quite possibly. Yeah.
Do you think that it's going to transfer well from the screen to the table?
Possibly. It's always hard to tell how that's going to work. You like to think it's going to go well, but you never know for sure.
Yeah. And, and Modifius has very, very good quality products. I can't think of a clunker that they've done in recent memory.
Yeah.
So I have very, very high hopes and high expectations. I'm not going to lie about that. But God, just to be able to paint my own Nuka-Cola machine. I would love to paint the miniatures. That's really the big thing that I want to do. But those figures from that image, those are excellent sculpts. Holy crap. Even the bases look amazing.
Yeah. Those do look pretty darn cool, man.
Yeah. All right. So, hey, if you are a person who enjoyed Fallout 4, if you are also a board gamer, you might want to check out or keep an eye on Kickstarter or other news from Modifius to see how they are going to get the Fallout Wasteland Warfare board game out to market. And it's really cool that it's not set in, you're just going to do player versus player, or you're just going to do co-op, or you're just you have options, which will definitely increase replayability on this. So, really looking forward to that. All right. Hey, if you've liked what you've heard so far on this particular Galactic Network podcast, we have other shows that we make available to everyone, and we will be adding more soon. I'm just waiting for my audio package to get done for Timelines, and I can start working on adding that show to the stable of Galactic Network podcasts. Please consider helping us meet some of our goals and to keep adding and trying to do more with the network. If you can go to gncasts.com/support. On that page, you'll find a link to our Patreon campaign, where if you are able to, you could make a small recurring monthly pledge of as little as $1 a month. You can also, if you're an Amazon shopper, you can go to gncast.com/support, and we have an Amazon affiliate link. And if you click that link, you'll be able to shop through us essentially, and we'll be able to get like a small percentage of what you spend at Amazon, and that would also go to that little bit would help us out and help us meet some of our goals that we're trying to achieve here on the network. So again, go to gncasts.com/support. We'd really appreciate it. The Kickstarter Spotlight. Yeah. Last week we talked about Eclipse Phase, which is basically a retooling or they worked out some issues that they had. And this was really successful. It's 3 days as of today, May 14th, 2017. 3 days to go. Their goal was $35,000. As of this point in time, they've gotten $140,500. So this is really a go. And hopefully you've been keeping an eye on this, or you put a reminder so within 48, at the 48-hour mark, at the point where it's about to end, you'll get a notification so you can hop in here. And as we talked about last time, the coolness of the stretch goals There's two in particular that you and I had never heard of before, Glenn. When they reached $70,000, it unlocked the freelancer bonus. In other words, the folks that are doing Eclipse Phase gave their freelance workers extra money for the work that they did or will be doing. When they reached 115,000, they got an added bonus. So they got two bonuses for the work that they did on this project, which is truly amazing. And the other things that they unlocked is an NPC file where they this is going to be a 48-page book, and it gives you more NPC and character archetypes and specific characters within that archetype. And then they created Your Whispering Muse Series 1. And there are 8 installments. Let's see. Oh, basically they're little installments, little stories that give you a better look at the world of Eclipse Phase. What is Eclipse Phase? That's a good question. I'm glad you asked that. It's sci-fi. It's the future, and humanity created artificial intelligence and got spanked by artificial intelligence, and they had to flee. They had to flee the Earth and live elsewhere because they were being hunted down by the AI that they created. So it's a world where you can have your body modified, or you can have your consciousness put into another body. So, I mean, they call it transhumanism. There's a lot of interesting concepts that they threw into this game system, and when it was first released, it really gained a bit of a following, and now that they're tweaking things, it seems to be picking up a little bit more of a following. So looks like the estimated delivery date is October of this year, so in 5 more months. Let's see. That is the... Okay, if you just got the PDF version, you're getting it in August, so you're getting it in 4 more months. But if you got the print versions, you're going to have to wait till October. But there was a level where if you pledged $1,000 or more, you could get all their stuff, an electronic copy of every book, game, trinket, everything, until the end of 2020, which is another interesting and unusual pledge level. So yeah, they knocked it out of the park, and hopefully they're at 140,000. The next unlockable goal is at 145,000, and that's the ambient album from Scott Fox. It's a soundtrack, a full-length ambient album set to the world of Eclipse Phase. So fingers crossed they'll be able to cross that threshold in 3 days, but we'll have to see how that goes. So that is definitely successful, definitely happening. But you have brought another Kickstarter to our attention. And what is that, Glenn?
Well, let me read the little story they have to start it off. Jacob was locked in the barn, and the barn was off limits. We all understood that, but in the end, it didn't matter. I had to go into town to pick up packages before God's damn Kevin got any ideas over there in that general store of his. So I guess it's fair to say I was distracted by duty and didn't give it much thought. If we'd known what was going to happen next, I swear Pa would have taken Jacob for a long walk with a shotgun. 2 out, 1 back, just like an old dog. But of course we didn't know, and so it goes. Jacob got loose. Lucky for me, we got a big family, and my cousins up deep in Vermont took me in and raised me as one of their own. But I got to stare in the face. The cold fact that there's a price to pay, a downside to the bounties we outsiders enjoy. They say it's held me in good stead. They might be right, but I ain't never gonna be able to forget what happened to my pa or to goddamn Kevin in his general store. But at least now I know why it happened. It happened to show me what I need to do, what I need to become. When I'm in charge of the family, I must be strong enough to keep all the moving parts under control. I must know that I can serve, can be of use, can keep me and mine safe. And as to the rest, well, if they are the price I must pay, I pay it gladly. Unspeakable Sigil and Sign, Cthulhu Mythos RPG, where you play as the cultists. I felt this was fitting, seeing as our topic for the day.
Oh, wow.
Yes. So, yeah. Just the great thing is, it's like the Great Cthulhu, the King in Yellow, the Crawling Chaos to the Black Goat, the old ones, the myth, they're here on Earth. And there's something keeps the older ones' interest tethered to our planet. And for those who simply want left to live their ordinary lives in peace, the baleful aims of ages can only pretend doom. But you're not one of those people. You're an outsider. You're caught between the world of the mundane humans and the dark alien world of the mythos. So yes, you get to play as these secret personas and secret people trying to basically achieve whatever nefarious ends you are trying to achieve. So yes, looks super cool. You can get in on this. The core digital set, the Kingsman set, this is a British thing, so the PDF is going to run you about $37. If you want the print, it's about $76. That's the core set. It comes with the core set for Sigil and Sign, which is a slipcase containing the full cover hardback core book, the play kit, which comes with a rules book, 2 decks of cards, 8 custom-made dice, and 30 tokens. So for that price, it's actually pretty good. Figure a normal RPG book these days, a big one is going for about $60. So for the extra money, you're getting the extra booklet, the cards, the custom dice, the tokens. Not bad. Plus, you'll get any bonus material added through unlock stretch goals. They were looking for $45,000. They're currently at $70,000. So the game is being done. Delivery looks to be June of next year, so a little over a year away still. Looks pretty nifty. I love the idea. You play as the bad guys. Play as the cultists, so that looks kind of nifty to be able to do. As far as stretch goals, they've unlocked a short story, a core book expansion, and a playmat. Actually, they haven't updated this, so they've unlocked more since then. They've also unlocked the supplement St. Josie Critique, the Sigil Inside poster map, and another core book expansion. So they have some that they haven't updated that they've unlocked. So still a bit of time to go on this one. There's 7 days left. Not a lot of time, but there's just still 7 days left. Yeah, it looks super cool.
Okay, actually, in pounds, they're at 55,000. This is the dollar equivalent that we're seeing. So they're at 55,000.
Yeah, they were looking for $45,000. Is what they were looking for. I did it all in American money. So.
Yep. So they just crossed the threshold for the supplement for the St. Josie Critique.
Yes, I see down there. That's what I'm looking at.
Yep. So it's
that's still in pounds. Okay, yeah.
Yep.
So yeah, so the St. Josie Critique.
But still, looking at this is gonna be a YouTube heavy show. For that, I apologize somewhat. Looking at the imagery that they've taken, it looks like they've taken black and whites and modified them. But I'm only looking at this at a smaller, it's a smaller thumbnail. They could be actually, hand drawn, really high quality hand drawn. But they've basically modified these black and white photos of people from that era and made them look like they are they've been changed by
Yeah.
their brushes with Cthulhu and, you know, these ancient beings, these eldritch gods.
And it's got good pedigree behind it. There's two companies behind it. There's Make Believe Games and Cubicle 7. Cubicle 7, a lot of people should know. Cubicle 7 does the One Ring RPG. They do the Doctor Who role-playing game.
Yes. Okay.
So it's got a big name. It's got a big enough name, so it's got an experienced name behind it. And the writer, C.A. Suleiman, I mean, the dude's worked on D&D. He was one of the co-authors of Vampire the Requiem. He worked on Dave Arneson's Blackmore. So, I mean, the guy's done stuff. He's been around for a while. He's worked for Green Ronin. I believe he worked for Green Ronin. So, yeah, I mean, it's got some good people behind this. So this is not some fly by night. So when you think, you know, it's like, well, I'm paying $70 some for a game from people I don't know. These are people who've been in the industry. So
that is, it's disturbing, and rightly so. When you're dealing with the Cthulhu mythos, it should be disturbing.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. I'm very intrigued. I'm gonna have to. Oh, and it ends in 7 days. I'm gonna have to set a reminder.
Yeah.
I get paid on Friday, so I might throw a little bit at this to get the digital course set.
I will not back this.
You won't?
No. If they needed the money, I would back them. But I'm going to bring it into my store, so I'm going to back them in that way.
Ah, gotcha.
So.
Fair enough. I was like, who are you? Of course.
Yeah.
Why aren't you? Oh, okay.
They've got a retailer level. I'm not sure if we're going to back. We might back on that, but I mean, at the very least, especially if it's Cubicle 7 behind it, I know I'll be able to get this in my store. And I love carrying stuff from Cubicle 7 because they are part of the Bits and Mortar program.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Which I think I've talked about before.
Yes.
Yeah. So
and
I love companies that are members of that.
Yep. And their Accomplice, the retailer package, if you back at that level and you are a legitimate store, you would be able to sell this before its general release, which is kind of cool. Wow. I'm really kind of interested in taking a look at the video, but I'll have to do that after the show. All right. Well, thank you for that.
Absolutely.
So, speaking of the unspeakable, the evil, we wanted to talk about evil in games, playing evil characters more specifically, and how to do it in such a way that it is not burdensome to other players, to the GM, because as it stands, if you're running a game and everybody is running towards the same goal of adventure or, you know, party unity, because that's how it is, you know, if you're teamed together as adventurers, you probably have some kind of code or some kind of, you know, some kind of something that keeps you together. There is kind of a misnomer, and I've seen it happen in gameplay, where somebody plays an evil character, or a bunch of people, or the entire party is playing an evil character, and somebody just goes, oh, I'm going to, you know, stab this guy in his sleep because I'm evil. That's probably a good way for you at that point become the character that unifies everybody to kill you. Because nobody's going to stand for that while you're playing a game.
Yeah.
And I was fortunate enough that former guest John Maligue ran a Pathfinder game, and it's from Fire Mountain Games, and it's called, I'm going to do a screen share here, YouTubers. It's called Way of the Wicked. And you start as a first level character who has done something bad enough to get you put into a secure prison, a secure jail. And you all have to work together at the start to escape and start your adventure. And along the way, you really need to, you're all working at, what's really smart, the folks that put this game together, okay, at the beginning, there is a contract that you all sign in blood, essentially, that binds you and keeps you from killing the other person, because if you do, you die too. Okay. It's something at that level. But there comes a point where you reach a level where that's not really, you can probably circumvent that. And then you need to find a new reason to be working together to do a thing, to continue the storyline and do what you need to do, because there is an overarching story to this 7-module set. And it's really interesting. In the course of playing this game with people that are so very used to playing good characters, I think I mentioned this before in previous episodes, that at times it felt like Rob and I really had our heads wrapped around evil, or playing, had a good idea of where our characters were and the things that we would and would not do because of our own code, and not be penalized for the things that we did. Okay, that sounds kind of cryptic. As an example, in one part of this adventure, we had to find a thing in a wizard's library. And Rob and I both happened to be playing magic-based characters. And we did a search of the room. We did just kind of a brief check, and we were very certain that there were magical traps in here. And we said, tread lightly, don't knock things about, just look. If you need something looked at closely, talk to my character or Rob's character, and we can try to find out if it's actually booby-trapped and how to circumvent it. And somebody went, I'm just going to break everything. And that's when disaster happened. And ghosts were released, and ghosts drain levels. And I looked at John, who was running the game, and I said, I am walking out of this room, and I will not heal any of these sons of bitches for their stupidity. They were warned. And everybody looked at me and went, except for Rob, and went, what? Again, there was a code. There was, I wasn't being evil for the sake of evil. And I wasn't necessarily being evil, but it was, you were warned. You were told not to do something stupid, and now I have to waste energy that I don't, I get once a day. and you pissed it away through your stupidity. I'm not going to reward that with healing. So you're on your own. And that's not necessarily an indictment on the person that did that thing, but it's kind of, I'm trying to illustrate that there, I wasn't being evil for the sake of being evil. It was there was a code, there was a thing. I still worked with them. It's not like I went, I'm done with you jackasses, I'm going to go on my own. No. Somebody did something stupid. I taught them a lesson, and then that was that. And we moved on and never talked about it again. There's a way to be evil and still work together cohesively. It's just that if you're used to playing good characters, you might have to dig a little deeper to find the thing that keeps your group together or keeps you with the group to do whatever you're supposed to do in this particular adventure that you're in. So the Way of the Wicked is if you're into Pathfinder, it's an amazing module set. We haven't completed it yet. We got to I think we finished up module 5. I think that we were, let's see. No, I think we started module 6. So we haven't finished the thing, but it's really great. So if you're a Pathfinder player, the underlying story of this thing, A Way of the Wicked, is amazing. So that's enough for my experiences in playing an evil character, or my advice from my perspective of playing a game that was specifically designed for evil characters. What are some of the points that you want to make about this, Glenn?
Oh, where to begin? I have played in several games with where characters were evil, where there were just evil characters, and several games where all the characters were evil. The biggest mistake that I see most people make is that they forget that they confuse chaotic evil with chaotic stupid, or chaotic dickhead. It's just the fact that they think that I'm evil, so I can do anything I want, and there's no repercussions. But there are repercussions. It's the same mistake people make when they want to say whatever they want and say freedom of speech. It's like, yeah, you can say whatever you want, and yes, if you're evil, you can do whatever you want. But there are repercussions for what you do. You know, if you're a thief and you decide I'm going to steal stuff from the cleric, guess whose ass ain't getting healed next time you're down hit points?
Yep.
It's just this notion that, you know, it's like, well, but I'm evil. This is what I do. It's like, no. I mean, for crying out loud, World War II wouldn't have happened if every Nazi just kept stealing stuff from other Nazis every time they tried to shoot a gun. I have no bullets because Fritz over there stole them. You know, that's not how evil isn't just like that. I mean, yes, you can say, well, Stalin was, yeah, okay. You know, if you're the big boss telling everyone what to do, then yeah, you can kill anyone you want because you're the boss. But you know what? You're level 3. No, you ain't getting away with that stuff. And I've been in games where it's like this accepted thing where it's like, okay, if I was an evil warrior and the thief kept stealing my shit, then yeah, I would kill his ass. But then people in these same people will then get pissed off if you like attack them or threaten them. It's like, I'm just playing my character. And I hate that as an excuse for doing something that's dickish. I'm playing my character. Now, the thing is that, yeah, you're part of a group. You know, I mean, if no one evil could get along and was always backstabbing each other, good wouldn't have to do shit.
Yeah.
Because evil would get down to the point where there'd be one evil dude left and be like, okay, now the whole world can just gang up and go get Bob because he's the only evil guy left because everyone else is dead because they all killed each other. It's very annoying at times. It works fine when you're playing like some computer RPGs. I mean, sometimes you finish a game and then you go back, you think, you know what? I just want to blow up Megaton with that nuke.
Yep.
But then there's the repercussions of the fact that you can't sell anything at Megaton after that because you blew it up.
Yep.
So I don't understand. And the thing is a lot of it, there are GMs who don't know how to handle this when their players want to play evil characters. When I run stuff at the stores, when I'm running campaigns at the store for the most part, especially ones that are open to new players, evil characters aren't allowed. Period. I don't care if you not even lawful evil. There's no evil characters allowed because we're trying to make family friendly or at least just new player welcoming games, and that's really hard when you have someone who goes, he's asleep, I'm going to steal all his gold, or I'm going to steal his healing potion. Why? Do you need the healing potion? Nope. Then why are you stealing it? Just because of what I do. And this is different than the thief occasionally, picking open the lock on the chest and seeing something like trying to pocket the gem out of the chest. That's different. That I can accept as the I'm gonna do this because it's my thing. But the going over and robbing your teammates, or in some cases attacking and killing your teammates, it doesn't make sense to me. Unless there's a good justification for it. Just because I'm evil is not a justification for that stuff. And there aren't enough. I think there's a lot of GMs who don't crack down on players who do this stuff. The ones that will just, go to a town and just, kill anyone they want. And I'm like, does this city not have a city guard? And the thing is people will say, well, like your typical city guardsman is only he only has like 6 hit points, and these are, yeah, but you know what else the city might have? Other adventurers. So when your chaotic evil butt rolls into town, or when you're trying to play, I'm gonna be lawful evil, but you run this chaotic evil because almost no one knows how to run lawful evil properly, and you're like, I'm going to steal from this merchant. I'm going to kill that homeless guy. I'm going to burn the bar down. Great. Okay. So the town's all gotten together now. And they're like, well, I could take on townspeople. Yeah. And they've hired 4 bands of adventurers to take your ass down. So it's 4 groups that are all about the same level as you. And so there's the 4 of you and there's 17 of them. So you want to play this out? Because we can play this out if you want to take on the fight. Because, yeah, you've just pissed off an entire city. Or just the fact that you might not be welcome back. Next time you show up at the gates, they're waiting there at the gates for you. It says, yeah, you can try to come in if you want to go through us, but we're not letting you stay here. I actually played in the game, and I played with them once, and I did not go back because they were doing the chaotic stupid. Here it is. This is my first time playing with any of these people aside from the Dungeon Master. It's my first time playing with him. It's the only person I knew in the group. So none of the players know me. And my first day there, I was not running an evil character. I didn't know that anyone else was at the time. The GM did warn me that the players can be a bit, what was the word he used? I believe it was brash. Yeah, no, they were just assholes. Because I'm barely sitting on the table and they're already passing notes to the Dungeon Master, and I can already hear him just doing his because he obviously it's nothing new for him, and I learned quickly why they constantly have vacancies in their group, because the other 3 players, the very first night, he has me make perception rolls, which I didn't pass. And then I wake up in the morning, I make a perception roll when I wake up, and I'm like, oh, so yeah, your 2 healing potions are gone, all your money's gone, your backup weapon is gone. I'm like, really, guys? And they're like, you don't know it was us. I'm like, so I go to the guy who was keeping watch. Was there someone in the camp last night? No, nothing happened. I'm like, then where's my stuff? Well, I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah. Okay.
So I planted a seed in the Dungeon Master's ear, because at the end of that adventure, which I cast no healing spells on anyone but myself, which they kept yelling at me for because I wasn't being a team player. To which I said, well, if I had my healing potions, someone could use those. I planted the seed because we went into town, and we ended in town, and apparently they were known in this town. And we roll into town. Everyone's terrified of them, and they go into the tavern, and they just take all the free booze they want and all the free food they want. And for the lack of a better term, they pretty much take any woman they want and pretty much rape her. Ugh. And I then planted the seed in the game master's head. I said, this is what you should do. The next time you play, I said, you want to get a handle on these guys. I told him what he should do. And then about a month later, I ran into him again, and I said, you still play with these guys? He goes, no, I took your advice, and they all quit. My advice was this. So that night, after a night of being, big macho rapists and being completely drunk, they went to sleep. My character left. I left town. I wanted nothing to do with them. Then the innkeeper, and this is an inn that the room that they were in was in the back of the building, and it was built into a hillside. So there are no windows in their room. And the innkeeper bolted their door shut, and they piled a bunch of sacks in front of it. The sacks were full of oil-soaked rags, and they set the inn on fire with them inside it. One of them managed to escape with like 3 hit points, and when he comes out of the burning inn, there are 90 villagers waiting for him, who all just start throwing rocks at him. And they all died. And they were apparently they threw this huge fit and how it wasn't fair, and we didn't get the Eagles. I let you make perception checks, and you guys failed them. You made the perception checks too hard. It's like, you were blackout drunk. I wish I could have been there for it. I really wish I could have been there. But yeah, he goes, yeah, the whole session lasted like 20 minutes. And they screamed and yelled, and one guy almost was like going to flip over the table, but it was too heavy. And then they all stormed off. And he goes, yeah, I haven't spoken to any of them since. And I'm like, are you playing with someone else? He goes, yeah. He goes, I found a group on campus to play with, and it's a lot better. I get to be a player for a while now. And
that's nice.
He said we're actually playing the heroes. So, I mean, and this isn't to say that you can't play the bad guy and have fun. I mean, I've done it. I've done it in not necessarily, I did it once for a one shot in D&D. I mean, in a lot of ways, you play games like World of Darkness stuff. You're kind of playing bad guys a lot in some of those games.
Yeah.
I mean, depending on how you play it. I mean, and there were a lot of rules for it. I mean, I played. I was a member of the Sabbat for a while.
Okay.
And I did a lot of. I mean, we killed a lot of people, but there was eventually a comeuppance.
Yeah.
At that point, my character was out of the game. I had just because of work, I just stopped playing with that group because I couldn't. That's when I started bartending, and they played Saturday nights. But yeah, they eventually, it's the I'm forgetting the name now. Who's the group that comes in when Sabbat gets all out of control?
Oh,
basically like the vampire police.
Now I can't remember.
Kind of came in and said, "Yeah, this shit's done." And then there was like a little bit of a mini war, and the players all got kind of the kicked just the snot out of them, and that campaign kind of wound down. But they had fun for a while it was. I mean, yes, we were killing a lot of people, but there was a goal. We didn't kill each other. We still had the rules for that. You didn't Diablerize. Is that what it was?
Yes.
Yeah, you didn't do that to your own teammates. You weren't supposed to do it in general. It was still frowned upon. It's just like, go ahead and kill them, fine, but you still had rules you had to follow. We still had a boss we had to answer to. We had our own, sort of, police force that was like, yeah, you guys are being a bit too much. You need to tone it down a bit. We got that warning once. And it was the warning where it's like, it's knowing the fact that who our bosses were. It's the fact that, yeah, okay, we're going to listen to that because, we don't want to die. Because that's what happens if you follow a logical course, if you are the evil person and you are not at the top of the food chain, yeah, someone's going to kick you off.
They're going to kick you back to the bottom of the hill or worse. And that's the thing is it can, if it's handled right, it can work. But a lot of game masters don't have it in them to really take control if the players want to abuse it. And it's very, very easy to abuse because you can just fall back on that, I'm evil.
Yeah, there's a point where it can be a dodge, where you stop doing, as I've seen, it can be the point where somebody just stops doing intelligent or good role playing for the sake of just doing whatever they want.
Yeah.
And just trusting to the fact that they're badass enough that there's going to be no consequence to what they decide to do.
Mm-hmm.
And when you run a game like that, well, in general, there should be consequences for actions. Okay. Whether it's somebody who's good that does something that doesn't turn out quite right, or there's an accident. I mean, there should be a consequence to the action, not just for the sake of justice or whatever, but also as more potential storylines, as more potential plot devices that you can put into your game. So never let somebody get off scot-free unless there's a really, really good reason for it.
Yeah.
As just a general piece of advice.
Yeah. Well, and it's the thing too is unless you're playing, unless your setting is a world where evil is the norm.
Yeah.
So if you're playing in like a normal D&D, so we're going to use D&D as, or Pathfinder. If you're playing in a normal setting, evil is not the norm. At least as far as most of the civilized areas go.
Yep.
So if you want to be those big bad evil guys, what happens to the big bad evil guys in those worlds? Can you hire people to go after them?
Yeah, you get hunted.
You get hunted. And that's the thing you need to remember is you can be evil, but you got to remember to keep in a little bit of a low profile. And not only that, but your friends, you're going to need them at some point.
Yeah.
So if you're always stealing from your friends, well, when someone says, hey, we want this guy, 20,000 gold's a bounty, don't be surprised if your ass ends up tied up some night and left on the doorstep of the king. Well, the rest of your party's nowhere to be seen.
And possibly sporting new armor or weapons.
So
yeah, I mean, more than anything else, there needs to be consequence for actions. Or, I mean, kind of just building on to what you were saying, when you play a module or an adventure, you're usually going after something big and maybe not necessarily horribly evil, but something that's probably not right. And somebody hires you to seek justice for an action or a thing that was done, and you're the person that caused it to happen. You become that thing that gets, mercenaries are paid to find you, and that's just kind of the deal.
Yeah.
So,
well, it's not just mercenaries. There's the other evil guys out there that might come after you because it's like, dude, that dude's got a lot of. So now it's like you're doubling the number of potential enemies that you could have in the world. Because now it's not just all the normal evil creatures you have to worry about. You don't have to just worry about the goblins and the kobolds and the ogres and stuff. Now you have to worry about the paladins and the clerics and all those dudes that are going to come after you. And and played right, that can be fun.
Yeah.
But that's the hard balance. It's really hard, which is why a lot of DMs and game masters generally won't do it, because it's very hard to balance, and it really, really can destroy a campaign, especially if you have that mix where you've got one or two evil characters with a good aligned party.
Yeah, that becomes walking such a fine line. It would be maddening especially for me as a game master. I'm not sure I could do that.
It could work as a short time play, kind of like the whole we have a common goal. Like there's some really really awful thing that I'm evil, but I don't want that to happen.
Yeah.
Well,
the enemy of my enemy.
Yeah, exactly. Who's going to help me? Well, the paladin will help me, and the paladin will be like, "But you're evil. But I know I can't do this alone. So right now we have to work together."
Yep.
So yeah, it can be done. It can be done, and I'm sure there's probably someone out there who's like, "I've been running an evil campaign for 22 years, and we're just fine." And if it works for you, great. I'm not saying you can't do it. I'm not saying it can't work. I'm saying that in a lot of my experience, it doesn't, or it only works short term. And it's so hard for some people to just resist that temptation of just I can do anything I want. It's that, absolute power corrupts absolutely. And even though they aren't all powerful, they think they are because they just think evil equals free pass.
Yeah. It definitely takes a perfect storm, the right game master and the right players to make that all work and balance out, or it can just go completely sideways, and you end up being locked in in an inn with bags of oily rags in front of the door, and somebody sets the whole inn on fire to get rid of you. And those of you that survive get rocks thrown at your head and you die. That's how that plays out. So yeah, quite honestly, if you can run a long-term evil game with all evil players, God, my hat's off to you, because I can't even imagine. I don't think I'm that good of a game master to handle something like that. I don't. But that's it. I mean, I think the big takeaway here is, if you're gonna do a game where everybody is evil, or the majority of the party is evil, you have got to find that cohesive thing that keeps everybody working towards a goal and not slashing each other's throats.
Yeah.
2, and probably almost as important, if not more, having the right players that understand that, like you said before, evil is not a free pass. You're not going to be able to, knife everybody in the party in their sleep and get away scot-free. That's not how it works. And, spending every game session making a new character because Captain Jackass is slashing everybody's throats. Captain Jackass is probably going to be asked to leave the group and not play again, because that doesn't work. That's too much wasted time. And frankly, if I were giving up my time to play a game and that kept happening to me, I would leave the group. There's no enjoyment for me at that point. And it's all about the enjoyment. That's why you game. So those are the big things. And then finding, if you're not doing a module, finding a good story and a good thread and a good through line to keep these people working together, and not have them go and, split off from the party and not have a reason to be with the group anymore, or helping them find reasons to stay with the group. That there's a lot of things to juggle to do something like this. And, it's hard. It's very hard. So, that's going to take a lot of communication between you and your players, in game and out of game, to keep things moving forward and making sure that everybody's enjoying themselves. So, Okay. Well, I think that we've covered pretty much all that we can. And maybe this is something that we come back to at some point in the future, with new experiences and new stories that we've picked up with playing evil characters, because it's very complex. It's incredibly complex, and it's not necessarily a thing that people are used to playing. I know, like with our group that was playing the Way of the Wicked modules, I don't know what it says about Rob and I, but we didn't have that hard of a time getting into and playing the evil characters, but following a code. And I'm not calling anybody else out in the group, but it was very hard for some folks to continue to play evil characters because they inherently are good people.
Yeah.
And it became hard for them, and I get it, I really do. But I don't know if it's the difference between a role player and a role player. You know what I'm saying? Somebody that throws the dice, but they're essentially themselves when they play, as opposed to taking on a different persona when you play and trying to force yourself to make evil decisions all the time, as opposed to, trying to create a separate thing and, have that other thing that you control do these evil things. I don't know if that's what it was. I could only guess. But Rob and I just are used to just trying on different things and doing, playing weird characters and seeing what happens and getting into that mindset. And maybe that's why it was easier for us, or maybe we're just horrible people in real life and it was just easy for us to do. I don't know. And that's probably not for me to say. Other people would have to make that judgment call. But there you go. It's not an easy thing to do. But if you do get a chance to do it, I think that it's potentially an incredibly rewarding experience to play the other side and maybe not necessarily humanize it, but get a good idea of how somebody could become evil, or how they could maintain, I guess, I've heard it said before that, when actors play the villain of the piece, they don't believe that they're the villains. They have good reasons for what they do, and they think that they're right, and they think that they're just, and trying to understand how a person could actually be in that headspace and be able to do the things that they do and still be able to sleep at night. So I think it's kind of interesting to be able to try that out in a game setting where it's safe and just see where things go, and just kind of enjoy playing something that you'd never do in real life. So on that note, I think we're going to wrap things up. Hey, if you want to chat with us, and with us, I mean, not just myself, maybe Glenn, but some of the other folks, Daryl Johnston, who does the Who Knew and Reviews show, or Matt Stein, or Gregor Spragg, the folks that do the podcast of Terror, or Else Nerds. There's an opportunity for you to chat with all of us, and not just talk about the shows, but just interesting things that you found. Maybe you found a game story that you think that maybe we should cover on Adventure Party. You could always go to gncasts.com/signup. And what we can do is we can sign you up and add you to our Slack team. Slack is a very interesting program. It can be a program that runs on your computer, or you can just use it on the cloud. And you could talk with any of us throughout the day. I work in the internet, so our our work uses Slack to communicate. So I have my work channel up, and I also have the Galactic Network channel open. Anyways, you could talk to me almost any time, and I would be more than up to answering questions or talking about stuff, and well, not too much where I totally interrupt my work. But I also have it on my phone, so I'm open to talking about game stuff at any time. All you have to do is go to gncasts.com/signup, and you could get in on that. You can always go to gncasts.com/adventure. That's where our audio version of this is, or you can check us out at youtube.com/galactic netcasts. We changed the name, and now we're still at Galactic Netcasts on YouTube, and we have a playlist of all the Adventure Party episodes. Adventure Party always hits YouTube first, and then it gets edited into an audio version of the show. So that's the place you go to see episodes right away. If you have a question or a comment or anything that on anything that you've heard on this show, you can leave a voicemail message, or you can text this number, and that number is 805-328-3966. Again, 805-328-3966. And let us know if we missed something, or if you have something you want to add to something we've talked about before. We'd love to hear from you. You can also go to gncasts.com/contact and fill out a form there. We read, listen to, and appreciate you guys taking your time to give us feedback. We're always interested in what you got to say. You can also subscribe to us or any of the Galactic Network podcasts by going to gncasts.com/subscribe, or you can find our stuff on iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play Music, and we get sometimes thrown in different different podcast land is one place that we've ended up as well. So we're all over the place. So whatever is convenient for you, wherever you listen to your podcast normally, we're probably there, and you can find us. I also want to thank Mark Wooldridge from Central Battery Music Works for our theme music. And he's working on the Timelines theme stuff right now. So I'm really excited about that. Hey, Glenn, thanks for talking about being evil.
You bet.
It's always fun to chit chat and get different perspectives on. And I mean, that's really what the show is all about. But it's always cool to just kind of shoot the breeze and talk about different aspects of games and gaming. If people want to find out more about the other things that you do, that being the B-Movie Bunker, your horror shorts that you've done, and more about your RPG Mistrunner, where can they go to find that?
You can find more about me on Facebook with Guy in a Bunker Productions and the B-Movie Bunker, on YouTube with Guy in a Bunker Productions and the B-Movie Bunker. Find me at guyinabunker.com, at mistrunner.com. Find me you can find me so many places. There's also Astro Radio Z is one of the podcasts I do, as along with the Spoiler Room with Special Mark Productions. Best though, just follow me on Twitter at Guy in a Bunker.
There you go, short and sweet. Guy in a Bunker on the Twitters. Boom. Hey, I want to thank you guys for listening to us and joining us on the Adventure Party. May your characters never die, and your adventures always be epic. Thank you, and good night.